Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's video is going to be my long-awaited. I teased this a lot on all my social medias. It took me months to film, and my nails, I'm not wearing any nail polish because it needs a break from swatching. I have my top 100 Zoyas for you. Now technically I have a little bit more than 100, but I get asked a lot when they do these really great promos, what are my favorite Zoya nail polishes? It's not a top 10, it's not even a top 20, and I sort of message you privately when you ask me, and it means a lot because you trust my opinion. So I wanted to do a video dedicated to all of you who love Zoya as much as I do. I've been purchasing Zoya since 2009, and only in 2016 I was on their PR list, so it's been a long time. And then on YouTube, I didn't really start actually taking YouTube, I would say, like more consistently or uploading a bit more frequently until 2013 or 14. So it's, you know, the whole love for Zoya started way before social media, way before YouTube. It was just in my life, my personal pleasure. And before I forget, because I wrote everything down, they are retail for $10 US a piece. They are 10 free. You get 15 mils of product for all the swatches that you're seeing, with probably exception to one. I think it was a neon. It's no base coat, no top coat in this video, and I don't have every Zoya nail polish. I need to say that because I think I have a vast collection. The majority, in terms of all the brands, I have more Zoyas than I have any other brand, and that's because I love Zoya nail polish. I've actually, oddly, one time I dreamt that I made a polish with them, so yeah, to tell you that's how much I love Zoya. And again, I wish I had every polish. I don't, but I have a big collection nonetheless. If you have a Zoya Share the Love code, you don't have to use that link. That is if you don't have a, if you want to create a profile with them on the website, you can use that link, but you don't have to. I will link their website nonetheless. From 2009, so spring of 2009 to the summer of 2017, all the polishes, including the core collection, limited edition collections, seasonal collections, that's what this video is going to contain. So I hope you enjoy, and I will put timestamps in the description box, so if you want to jump to different color categories, you can do so, and I will be good to list all the polishes I mentioned too in the description box if you you know, you don't understand what I'm saying, because sometimes my accent can throw off the names for certain people, and I don't want to be annoying and say you click this notification bell, but please do, because YouTube is changing a lot of things around, and if you know, this video doesn't show up in your subscription box, is because you kind of have to click the notification bell and to be notified of my uploads, and please subscribe. So that would mean so much to me, and let's get started. So the first color category are nudes. Some of the neutrals. The first one is called Zoya Jacqueline or Jacqueline, and this is a beautiful, really light yellow. I don't have a yellow category. This is the only yellow that made it into my favorite, so I wanted to start with that because it's just the only one. And it is a really light pastel yellow, perfect two-coater, really creamy. It looks so beautiful against my skin tone, especially in the summertime. I love that one. A more traditional nude is Zoya Tatum. This is opaque between 1 to 2 coats, and it is a really gorgeous beige cream, and sometimes these kind of colors can be unappreciated in my opinion, because you're so used to seeing nudes and creamy nudes from a lot of different brands, but this is a great one if you have medium yellow undertone. It's a beautiful nude. Next is Avril. When I posted this one on Instagram, a lot of people went crazy because not a lot of people know about it, but it is a gorgeous blush tone. Now this is fully opaque on 3 coats. I will put all the coats next to the names in the description box if you miss it while I'm speaking. And technically this is definitely more a pinky blush, but it is a nude for me, and for that reason I love it, and it's an underrated Zoya in my opinion, personally. Next we have Kennedy, and Kennedy again is something that is more of a purple muted nude in my opinion. I wear this a lot. Actually I think it's one of my most recent purchases, but when I have worn it, I've worn it with a lot of neutral clothing, and I love it that way. It's just a very soft whispering, like muted purple nude shade for my skin tone. So that is Zoya's Kennedy, and it is opaque on 2 coats. Next we have Jill, and Jill is a little bit deeper than that, and I would consider this a mauve nude shade. Technically, during the fall and winter, I wear deeper nudes, and in the summertime, I wear a little bit more stark nudes, I would say, and this is definitely a mauve nude, and it is beautiful. Now, it does look, I think, a bit better if you have a pinker undertone, but I like the way it contrasts on my skin for being a pinky mauve. It's called Cathy, and Cathy is definitely more beige in tone. And this is what I would consider a year-round nude for my skin tone, with a yellow undertone with a medium skin. And it's a great formula, love it. If you are in the market for a nude, but you want the best bang for your buck and you don't want a seasonal nude, this would be a great one. So the next one is Zoya Godiva, and this is probably my first pixie dust. I think it's my first pixie dust, and it is a nude pixie dust with a ton of silver in here. And every time I wear this, I get a lot of compliments because it's such a understated, underrated polish in my opinion. I know not everyone likes textured polishes anymore, but even though the trend might be dying or it might go away at some point in the future, this would still be outstanding to me just because I love the nude and the juxtaposition of the silver and the nude and the texture. It's just really beautiful. Next we have Zoya's Jules, and Jules is what I would consider a pewter, khaki, platinum, champagne. It's just everything in one. It's more of a pewter though, and it has a lot of silver shimmer in here as well. This one was opaque on 3 coats, so it's not a 2-coater. You do need to be a bit more patient, but it is really, really stunning, and it's what I would consider a very safe nail polish, even though it's unique. Because if you're shopping for someone else and you want to purchase things for them that are different, this would be a great nude in that respect. It's a great palette cleanser as well when I'm like really, I've had enough, like color, I like to wear that, and it looks fantastic in winter time as well. So moving on to what I consider browns, I just have 3 because brown is not my favorite shade on my nails. First is Spencer, and this one to me is like I guess a hazelnut brown. It's really beautiful. It's opaque on 2 coats, and it's succulent. There's something about it that reminds me of hot chocolate, and it looks fantastic in the fall time. So I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of that in the fall season this year. As well as Nissa. This looks like pure chocolate on your nails. I'm serious. This is opaque on 2 coats, and it's a warmer tone brown. I don't like deep dark browns where it looks almost black. It doesn't jive very well with my skin tone, but I do still enjoy it. But I prefer colors like this, and it is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks like a bar of chocolate. What's not to love? So that is Zoya's Nissa. Next is Mary, and Mary is a really beautiful brown, but it has a different undertone. It has like a bit of a purple undertone, and for that reason I love it. I think purple, just based off of color theory, looks really nice against my yellow undertone. So for that reason I had to include Mary. Mary is opaque on 2 coats as well. Now moving on to the gold category, the first one is a textured polish, and this is called Levi. And Levi is a unique texture in my opinion because it is more of a lighter gold, but there's a lot of holographic pieces in here, and it just looks so pretty on the nails. I tend to wear this one more in Christmas time, to be honest, because it just looks really nice against reds and greens and blues and stuff like that. But it is a fantastic textured gold, and I think it works well for all skin tones. I think it looks really nice. As well as Tomoko. Tomoko might just be my favorite textured nail polish ever that they've released, and in my opinion this is the best one for a variety of skin tones. It's a great palette cleanser. It looks good on special occasions. You can still wear a top coat and make this beautiful if you're not a fan of the textured polish, but opaque on 2 coats, I absolutely love it. So that is Tomoko. As well as this one. This is another texture. It's called Solange, and it is a very, very bright yellow toned gold. Now this is not for everybody. This is going to look very beautiful, like I think against more warmer skin than cooler skin, but if you have warm skin tone and you're looking for a gorgeous, like in your face gold texture polish, it's this one. It doesn't get any better than this. Opaque on 2 coats. It's just sunshine in a bottle. I'm surprised they didn't name that sunshine. I am. This one is Zoya's Carry. Now, Zoya's Carry and Solange is identical in shade. It is just different in texture and formula. This is a foil while Solange is a texture polish. The reason why they're both in here is because I love the shade so much. And there are times where I don't want to wear the foil. I'm just too busy and I don't want fuss. I don't want to fuss about my nails. So I tend to put the texture version on instead of this one. But I love the foil. It is so bright. This looks spectacular on the toes as well. Opaque on 2 coats. It is so beautiful. So if you're looking for a summertime gold, now this is a fan favorite as well as my own. It's Zoya Ziv, and it is just gold in a bottle. I think this is my favorite gold for winter as well. And it looks like micro flake gold particles in here, because when I remove it, it's not just a straight gold nail polish. There's like micro gold flakies in here, so I think that gives it that extra golden dimension, and it just makes it superb on the nail. So probably my favorite gold for fall and for winter. It's so good. Now we're on to oranges. If this is moving fast, I'm sorry. I just don't want to keep you here forever because there's over 100 to talk about. But the first one is Coal. Now Coal is opaque on 3 coats. It is a very orange creamsicle color. Normally 3 coats for me with an orange is too much, but I can't help but love the color of this. It is really, really gorgeous on the nail. Love the way it looks against my skin tone. Next we have Cora, and Cora is more saturated than Zoya. I just love the formula of them. It's so good that I can't deny it. And it's opaque on 2 coats. This one in particular, it is really nice. There's a hint of like red to this coral, which I love, and it's bright without being neon, so had to include it in my favorites. The next one is Zoya's Jansen. This looks exactly like macaroni and cheese. It is so beautiful in summertime. This is opaque on 3 coats though, so if you're not into that 3-quarter polish life, you might want to skip it, but it is one of my favorites because I don't really have too many oranges that look like macaroni and cheese, so had to include that. Next is Thandi. Thandi is a cream. It's kind of similar to Cora, but this is more on the orange side. Thandi is opaque on 3 coats as well. There's a silver sheen in there, which is beautiful. I wish it translated onto the nail, but nonetheless, the color is gorgeous, so you can't go wrong. You can get it opaque between 2 to 3 really, but for the swatch, I wanted to be honest and show you that that was 3 coats. Next is Cam, and Cam is much more saturated orange. It's just a true orange. If the rest of tones is something that you're just like, you know, I'm not really particular about that shade and you just want a pure orange, Cam is opaque on 2 coats. It is so good, buttery. I love this one. I'm probably going to wear this on my nails next, even though they're taking a bit of a break. I just haven't worn a ton of oranges this summer, and I want to because it's really good. Next we have an old favorite of mine. This is Elodie. Elodie is more of a pinky coral, and I love the tone of this. This is opaque on 2 coats. However, when I first purchased it, it was opaque on 3, so it does thicken up over time. And this is one of those like unsung heroes that Zoya has that no one really talks about. I really, really love this shade. So that is Zoya's Elodie. Next we have Roca, and Roca is, or Rocha, I want to say Roca. It is so pretty. It again very similar to Thandi, but this is much more red base and Thandi is much more orange. There's a silver sheen in here as well. Doesn't technically 100% shows up onto the nail, but I love that it's a really, really rich red tone orange as opposed to an orange tone red. So had to mention that. One of my favorite oranges of all time is Amy. Amy is a glass fleck intense, fiery orange. Now, it could be that Game of Thrones is on my mind right now because I'm obsessed with season 7. Just kind of reminds me of like Dragonfire. Love it. I just love it so much. Such a rich golden glass fleck that I'm obsessed with it. It is so intense on the nail. I love it. Finishing off the orange category is Destiny. Destiny is a fiery, beautiful textured polish. It is so pretty. This is opaque in 2 coats. Amy was 2 to 3 if I didn't mention. And this is so beautiful. There's a lot of gold in here, and I love gold textured polishes. And this one, the gold just kind of rises to the top, so you see that difference between the base and the gold textured pieces in here. So good, so good. These next 3 are what I would consider like pinky corals. So they're not quite pink, they're not quite coral. The first one's called Laurel, and Laurel is a really beautiful, I guess, salmon pink. It's more on the pink side than the salmon side. There is a really tiny amount of shimmer in here. It doesn't fully translate onto the nail. It is opaque on 2 coats. It's really pretty though. And this is a better formula over time. When I first got it, it wasn't a very good formula, but over time it got thicker and I really enjoy the shade, and it's one of those really pretty pinks as well. I love that. Next is Zoya's Wendy, and Wendy is just beautiful. Like, there's nothing more to say about this than it's stunning and gorgeous. It's opaque on 2 coats. It is a dream to apply. Like, it's what I would consider a summer staple in terms of color. Love this type of pinky coral. So flattering. You get so much use out of this, so for that I had to mention it. It is Zoe, and Zoe is a salmon pink. It pulls more salmon pink than pink on my skin tone, which is why it's in this color category. There are some holographic glitter pieces in here as well, and it is in a gold textured base as well. So I love that the salmon base in this color is really rich and deep. It's opaque on 2 coats, and I just love tones like this. It is really pretty. If you love pinks, especially Zoya's Wendy, and you're interested in a textured polish, that is definitely one to check out. Some of these are limited edition, like this one. I don't know if you can get this anymore, so I apologize, but I wanted to be fully honest. And like I mentioned earlier, it is spanning from 2009 to summer 2017, my entire collection. This one is Marilyn, and Marilyn is beautiful. It is a satin baby pink, like really light pink with a white pearlescent finish in here. It is so pretty. It is opaque on 3 coats, but it is so beautiful, and I think it's highly worth it. If you could ever find this one, it is worth it. In my opinion, I love shades like this, and Zoya makes really good sheen, like pearlescent sheens. They make really good ones. Next is Dot. Now Dot is not going to be for everyone, I'm going to say that now, because it's opaque on 3 coats. It is not what I would consider a beginner's nail polish, because you have to be patient with the coats, and it is opaque on 3 coats. But it is a really beautiful light warm tone pink on my skin, and for that reason I had to include it in here because I don't have very many like this. It is more popular to do neutral to cool tone pinks, which I have a few that I like, but I really appreciate that they did a light of a pink as this. Speaking of blue tone pinks, Zoya's Jordan. I really like this one. It's opaque on 2 coats. It's a great formula, and if I'm in the mood for a blue tone pink, I'll wear it. I have a ton of baby pinks, not as much anymore, but I do still have a couple. This is probably my favorite for the blue tone range, and Dot is my favorite for the warm tone range. Next is Sweet. Sweet is exactly what it says. It's a candy sweet pink, and it is more on the warm tone side. Really like this one as well. If you have a warm undertone and you're looking for a pink that's not too mid-range or too mid-tone, and it doesn't have a lot of white base in it, this is a great one. I do wear this a lot more in summertime than I do any other time of year. It looks really cute on the toes as well. Bright pinks, Kittredge. Yeah, Kittredge? Kittredge. And this is a neon pink. It's opaque on 2 coats, and for the fact that it's a neon pink opaque on 2 coats, I have to give it some love, because Zoya is an amazing 10-free brand to make a polish like this and take out all the nasty chemicals in it. You have to show some love, so that is Zoya's Kittredge. Next is Jolene, and Jolene is one of my most used pinks in my entire collection. You all know I'm not a huge fan of pink polish 100%, but when I'm in the mood, I tend to wear my favorites, as in this video, and this is no exception. It is a great mid-tone pink that isn't too dark, that isn't too bright. And even though it's opaque on 3 coats, I just love the tone of it. It has not thickened up over time though, so I would repurchase it in the future when this one is done, because I am capable of finishing this one. It's one of my most worn or used Zoyas, that's for sure. and it is really beautiful. So that is Zoya's Jacqueline. So Zoya's Low is new to my collection, but I love this bright warm tone pink. It is so pretty on the nail. It is spectacular. I love, love, love this one, and a few have been released that are similar to it, but it is a new favorite in terms of the pink for me, and if I'm loving a pink, you know it's really good. So that is Zoya's Low. Next one is Zoya's Dixie, and Dixie is just a fruit punch watermelon bright pink. It is so, so beautiful on the nail. This is opaque on one coat. You're looking at one coat swatch, and it is beautiful. The next one is very, very similar to it, but if you can't pick this one, I'm going to show you something that you can get that it currently was released this year. But this is a beautiful nail polish and highly recommended. I don't know anyone who owns Dixie that doesn't love it, truly. And Zoya Sonia, this is the one that is very similar to Dixie. It is just a tad, and I mean a tad bit more saturated in tone. It's identical in color, but this has a little bit more saturation, a little bit more pigment to it. But essentially it's the same. So if you can't pick up Dixie, or you see this one on sale and it's really, really affordable, get Zoya Sonia, because it's also a really beautiful shade. Next up is Zoya's Alley, and Alley is just a highlighter pink. It doesn't get any better than this in terms of a formula. It's opaque on two coats, and it is a really, really strong neon, and it's a great formula. So if you want a good pink neon, Zoya's Alley. It is stunning. Next up is Zoya's Dana, and Dana is like a Jolly Rancher on your nails. It is such a great formula. It's opaque between 2 to 3 coats, but I love the color on the nail. It gives a very Jolly Rancher type finish. It's very, very glossy, and it is so pretty. So it's the only fuchsia in this entire range that are my favorites, but we're gonna move on to the raspberries now. And the first two, in my opinion, I wouldn't consider raspberry, but I didn't really have anywhere to put it. They're so unique and different in their own way. This is Tiffany, and this is a peach rose gold. It is so unique. It's a glass fleck polish, opaque on 2 coats, ton of gold in here. Zoya makes really, really good glass fleck polishes. Probably one of my favorite finishes that they make, and it is so pretty. It's really gorgeous, and I wish this is one that they re-promoted and make, you know, have it come back. As well as Anastasia. This is one I wish they would re-release. It's so unique. It's so unique. It's like a purple with a bronze and a gold sheen in here. It is stunning on the nail. It depends on which light, if it's sunlight, artificial light, if you're indoors. It's a chameleon. It could look neutral or deep. It's so pretty, and this is opaque between 2 to 3 coats. I really, really wish I saw these two come back, because I think they would be fan favorites, to be honest. I think a lot of people would purchase it. One is called Allegra, and Allegra is a glass fleck polish. This is opaque on 3 coats, 2 to 3 really depends, again, on your application. And it is stunning. It's, again, a raspberry shade with a ton of gold shimmer particles in here. It is so beautiful. It was released in part of like that Sparkle collection many, many years ago. Still one of my absolute favorites. Next is Ash, and Ash is opaque on 1 coat. It's between 1 to 2, but I got this opaque on 1 coat, and for that reason it had to be in here. There's a silver sheen in here as well as silver particles, so kind of different from Allegra, where it's a very glass fleck polish. This is much more of, I would say, like a shimmer, and it is a really, really rich, deep, succulent color. This is a bit deeper, more raspberry than Ash. Ash is a bit more red, but it's still raspberry. This is a bit more purple, more berry, and it's called Britta because it has that like purple red element to it. It's like a deep berry, so I still kept it in the raspberry category. And this is opaque on 2 coats. Again, that silver sheen and sparkle particles is in here as well, and it is beautiful. I get a ton of use out of raspberry shades in the winter time because it's when I prefer to wear a jewel tone shade. Next one is Blaze, and we're entering to the scattered holographic like element to this favorites video now. And Blaze to me is much more raspberry. It is opaque on 2 coats, and the scattered holographic on this is just insane. It is so pretty. A must-have, a must-have. If you're into scattered holographics, that's a must-have. Next one is Riley, and this is the perfect berry nail polish in my opinion. I really adore this, and it's opaque on 2 coats. It is a warm tone berry, which I love because typically berries can be really cool, but this is a warm tone. So good. It looks really, really beautiful in fall. I love that one. Next we have Courtney, and Courtney is an oxblood red. It is a true oxblood in my opinion. It's opaque on 2 coats, and it is so vampy, it's ridiculous. If you're looking for a vampy red, you have to get Courtney. It's a bit lighter on the nail than in the bottle, but this is sexy. It's such a sexy nail polish in my opinion. This one is called Claire, and Claire is what I would always describe as think of chocolate covered cherries. It is opaque on 2 coats. Really, really beautiful, beautiful nail polish, and this is what I would prefer for a dark brown because it has that red undertone. It makes it really wearable for me. Is the red category, and the first one is LC. LC is opaque on 2 coats. It is more of a coral toned red, so if you're not into just a full blue based red and you want something warmer, this would be great and perfect for you. I love their cream polishes. Next one is Mora, and Mora is an orange toned red. It has a little bit more orange in here. This one's opaque on 2 coats, and the same reason I love LC is that it's a variation on a red nail. It's still red, but you can choose what undertone you want. It doesn't have to be just blue based. This is a good example that not every red is a blue based red. Kimmy. Kimmy is a glass fleck, like lava, hot lava red. It has a lot of gold in here. It is more of an orange red undertone. This is beautiful. If you love orange reds, this is a must-have. It is really, really pretty. It's more red than Zoya's Destiny's. Destiny's definitely more orange. For a cream classic red, Zoya's Suki, and Suki just always reminds me of True Blood. I can't help it. I really, really love this red. It is opaque on 2 coats, and it's a traditional red. If you're just looking for an average red nail polish, this is a good one. And like I said, it's a very neutral red. It's not too warm and it's not too blue base, so I love that one. Next is Christy, and Christy is a bit darker than Suki, just a little bit. It's still a neutral, true blood red on the nails. It is so pretty. It's again a classic red nail, and if you can't find Christy, Suki would be a great replacement for that. But I love having deep classic reds in my collection. I don't know, I love it. And if you're looking for a berry toned red, and this is a slightly berry toned red, it is Janelle, and Janelle is so pretty on the nail. Like, this is probably one that surprised me a lot. I didn't think I was gonna love it as much as I do, because I don't wear as much reds as I used to in the past, but this is beautiful. And I can tell you I'm gonna wear it a ton in fall because it is that perfect fall red. So those are just must-haves in my opinion. Next is Lisa, and Lisa is I would say a warmer tone glass fleck red polish. There's a ton of gold in here. Lisa is opaque on 2 coats, and it really gives that nice glass fleck finish on the nail. Great around Christmas time. I love to wear this around Christmas time. I'm just remembering, like, I have memories attached to this nail polish. It's really pretty. As well as Sarah, or Sarah, however you say it. This is a much more deeper red, and it's more saturated, and I would consider this more of a garnet red maybe, or a ruby red, with a ton of gold as well in here. So it is opaque on 2 coats. When you do apply it onto the nail, the gold is gonna sort of be taken over by the red base, but I have no issue with that. I love deep dark reds, especially colors like this around Christmas time. Just looks heavenly. Next is Isla, and Isla is like I want to say a foil wrapping paper red with black dark edges. It depends on when you turn your nail, you're going to see those dark edges, and I love it. It's a vampire nail polish to me. It's like a vampire red, and I get a ton of use out of it in the fall and winter time as well. It is more of a, I guess a traditional finish in terms of a shimmer metallic, but it's so pretty that I definitely think you need to pick this one up. It's opaque on 2 coats as well. If you've been following me for any length of time, watching any of my fall nail polish video picks or favorite Zoyas or anything like that, or follow me on social media, you know Pepper is one of my like top favorites. I just love it so much during the fall time, and it's exactly that. It's a pepper color nail polish. It's like roasted red pepper, and there's a bit more brown in here than red. I would say, it definitely has more brown in here, but that red just kind of saves it, that brings it back into fall. For me, I just love this nail polish. It is so pretty on the nail. Must have. I love it so much. So the next color category are purples, and I probably have the most amount of purples than anything else in this entire video. Let's get started. The first one's called Candle, and this one is like a muted, there's a lot of white in here. So it's a drop of lavender, purple, and blue and gray in this one. To me, this is what I would call like a winter neutral polish in the purple realm. Really great formula. Very buttery. Opaque on 2 coats, just a complete classic. Next is Eastern, and this can be debated to be a taupe. I wanted to put it in here because I see more purple. It pulls more purple on my nail than it does taupe. But this is the way I would consider, or I would wear taupe nail polishes, because I can't wear them when they're just brown or gray or anything. It has to have a purple in there, an element of purple. So Eastern is opaque on 2 coats. It is just a beautiful nail polish. Next up is Zoya's Heather, and this has a drop of pink to it. So it's not a full-on purple, but it has a little bit of pinkiness to it. And for that reason, I love it. It's a very beautiful feminine shade. It is opaque on 3 coats, so it's not a beginner's nail polish by any means, I don't think. I think over time it will thicken up to be 2 coats, but it's so stinking pretty on the nails. I can't help myself but fall in love with this. It's definitely one of those Zoyas that I recommend a lot to people if they're not beginners to nail polish and painting their nails. Next is Marley. And Marley is so pretty. Marley has more blue and purple in here than it does anything else. So I would consider this more of a blue toned purple, but you can see that it is based in a nice white base as well, so it's not full on purple. There's a nice sheen in here as well, and it just looks so feminine on the nails. When I don't want to wear pink, like baby pinks, these are the kind of shades that I run to. I just love it. It looks so crisp and classic. I absolutely adore that one. The next one I have to thank my friend Evelyn for, because it's the only reason why I own it. It's a lemming of mine, and it's Julie. And Julie is opaque on 3 coats, and this is a beautiful purple nail polish. There's a really light, I guess a pearlescent shimmer in here, and it's beautiful. It's so stunning. It's very feminine. And I would consider this one a very delicate glass fleck polish. I wish they made this. I really wish they brought it back. Really wish they brought it back. Zoya's Abbey. I don't think I need to talk too much about this because I went on and on about this when I reviewed the collection, but it is my #1 Zoya ever. It is my perfect lavender. If I had to create a nail polish, it would be this, and then they came out with it. So I don't need to create as many anymore, but they knocked it out with this one. It does have like a really bright element to it, so perfect for toes and nails. I just love this so much. It's opaque on 2 coats if I haven't mentioned it already. I love Zoya's Abbey. I love it. This is Zoya's Leslie, and Leslie is so unique. There's this blue shift in here with some pink micro shimmer. And it does have an element of pink to the purple base as well. This is opaque between 2 to 3 coats. It's really stinking feminine. It's so pretty on the nail. I adore this one. When I first purchased it, I wasn't sure about it, and then I wore it and I was stunned. I don't have any dupes like it. You don't see very many purple polishes with blue flashes like this, so to me it's unique, and to me it's a must-have. Next is Zoya Stevie, and this is a textured polish with a ton of silver sparkle in here. I like it. It is super, super girly. And again, textured polish is great if you don't have a lot of time. If you just want to slap some nail polish on, have it dry, and it gives a nice finish to it. I like the creamy purple base in this one. So Zoya Stevie is definitely one to pick up. An old favorite is Peri. Peri is one of those shades that I recommend a ton to people. It's a radiant orchid type purple, and it is opaque on 2 coats for me personally. It's just what I would consider a very pretty purple nail polish, and it's one that looks good on everyone. It just looks good on everyone, from the fairest of skin to the deepest of skin tones. It looks beautiful. So that is Zoya's Peri. A little bit more saturated than Peri and a bit more deeper is Live. And Live is a 2-quarter polish for me. It is a beautiful shade of purple. It's more on the warm tone side than cool tone side, which is why I prefer it on my skin tone. And I get a ton of use out of this in the summertime. I really do enjoy it. One that is a bit more on the blue-based purple side, I guess we're going into like a little bit more blue-based purple here, is Malia. And Malia is such an underrated purple. It's a classic purple in my opinion. When I don't want a berry toned, a red toned, too much of a blue base that just won't right down the center purple, I grab this one, and this is why it's in my top 100. It is such a staple. It's super, super underrated, and it's a really nice cream formula, opaque on 2 coats. I really like that. A bit more saturated and maybe a tiny bit warmer is Zoya's Tina. And Tina, again, is just a 2-quarter polish. It is really beautiful. I wear this a ton in springtime, and I think it did come out in the spring collection this year, and I did wear it a ton in spring, just because it makes me happy when I see it. It's a really beautiful polish. Next up is Demi, or Demi, however you say it, and it's just a berry toned purple. Now Zoya does have a bunch like this, but this is my favorite one because it has a tiny bit more berry than red, and for that reason it's just a traditional berry shade that I run to a lot in the fall time, and it's a 2-quarter polish, so I can't help but love this a little bit more than the rest because this one is more purple. The rest are a little bit more deeper and saturated and more maroon in shade. That one's just a nice berry. Next is True, and True is again that perfect grape polish in a bronze, like there's a bronze shimmer in here, and I hope the swatch is going to pick up on that. It is stunning. It is a fall staple from me every fall, like from Zoya. I wear it a ton. I own a lot of purples, but this is one I come back to, and I think it's because of that bronze shimmer in there. It's really beautiful. This has to get a lot of praise. Again, it's an underrated one. For me personally, I don't hear people talk about Lail, and Lail is deeper than Demi. It is a really gorgeous, gorgeous deep berry shade, and I wear this so much in fall. It's one of my most worn Zoyas as well because they have a ton that are a little bit more red base, but this is more berry, and I love it. It's opaque on 2 coats. Now, the scattered holographic should be no surprise. They do really good scattered holographics. I mean, I own a ton of them. I think I own every one of them actually. Next one up is Aurora. Aurora is a scattered holographic polish. It is so pretty. This gets like a ton of love from a lot of people, and I can see why. This is opaque on 2 coats, and if you want something that is a little bit more festive than just a purple polish, this is a great one. If you have other purple shades, I know we all have berries in our collection, but this is beautiful. It's like a sugar plum fairy gone wild. I will say though, I love this one just as much, if not more. It's called Payson, and it's deeper and darker, and it has a ton of holographic in here. That scattered hollow is my favorite. I prefer the scattered holographic over linear holographic, and this is a good example why. It just glistens off the nail. Blaze is the same way. It just looks so beautiful, and it looks like a purple night sky. I love it so much. And another one that is a 2-quarter here, this is called Sloan, and Sloan is not very well known. This is an underrated one as well. It's more of a shimmer metallic foil polish, but it comes off looking more like a cream. But you can see in the swatch that it is distinctly purple, but like I guess indoors it's gonna look black. It's gonna look like it's really, really dark, it's gonna look black, but this comes to life in the sunlight or under artificial light. It's one of my favorites. Again, it's in my favorite top 100, but I just really think that is an underrated polish. Next, I'm going to talk about more blue base purples, and the first one is Pinta. Pinta can be opaque on 1 to 2 coats, really depending on your application. It was really almost opaque on 1, but I did 2 for good measure. And it's an inky, like purple. I guess the right term is purple, but I don't really like to say it. But it's a blue base purple. Super, super underrated shade. Love it. And again, one I wear a ton in fall and winter. I just love these blue base purples. They look so nice. I can't describe how much I love this one. I love them all, but I really love Belinda. Belinda is royalty on the nails. If you're looking for like a royal purple, don't hassle looking for other things. Get this one. It is a foil shimmer metallic. Again, it's one of those like shimmery metallic finishes that just looks so succulent on the nail. It has a silver sheen, but you're not going to see the silver sheen. It's just going to give like a purple sheen on the nail because of the color base. But I really, really love it. It looks like royalty, like purple royalty on the nails. It's so pretty. Another scattered holographic that is a must-have. Have to get this one if you're gonna get any of the scattered hollows is Finley. Finley is a blue base scattered holographic. We saw like the warm red tone bases earlier. This is so pretty. I mean, it just looks so gorgeous under like natural sunlight or artificial light, but even indoors it just gives something special. I just love this one. It's very, very special. This is Zoya Sansa, and Sansa always makes me think of Game of Thrones because of Sansa Stark. But this is a really rich foiled purple nail, and it has a ton of gold in here. Pick on 1 to 2 coats, but it's so pretty. It literally looks like royalty on the nails. It really does. And if you love purples and you love deep dark purples and you want to get something that's different from a cream, this is great. It applies like a cream as well. And a neon that actually surprised me when I was swatching them all, Charisma. Is it Charisma or Charisma? I think it's Charisma. I could be wrong. But I did put a top coat on this to show you, and the swatch is the only one with a top coat because it does dry matte. It surprised me. It's so bright, but I love it against my skin tone. It is opaque on 2 coats. I thought this was going to be finicky, but I did leave my bottle to sort of sit for a couple months. So it's been a couple months since I purchased it, and it really thickened up nicely. So it's opaque on 2 coats. It ended up in my favorite. So for that reason, you know, it had to be great. So the next 4 is what I would consider like a periwinkle shade. The first one is called Asta, and Asta was opaque on 3 coats. It is one of the only periwinkle that Zoya has. I'm really wishing for this in a cream polish one day, and it has a beautiful silver pearlescent shimmer in here. It is pretty. Again, it's a 3/4, so I don't think it's a beginner's polish, but it is beautiful. So if you do own it, go and get it, wear it. It's beautiful. Next is Caitlin. Caitlin is so pretty. This is like a gray sky. It is opaque on 2 coats, and it is one of the first Zoyas that I owned, and still one of like my top 100 favorites. That goes to show you how great of a polish this is. It's between a purple, a gray, and a blue. For that reason, I love it. I tend to wear this a lot in the fall and in spring. The texture polish is Alice. This one is opaque on 3 coats, but it is a really beautiful, beautiful texture polish. I get a lot of compliments when I wear this one actually, and it might be one of the prettier, vibrant texture polishes that they have. It's beautiful. It's opaque on 3 coats like I mentioned. Really great. Finishing this category is Issa. Issa is one of those shades that just made my jaw drop when I swatched it. It's a blue base purple with a ton of purple, like I would say scattered pearlescent sheen in there. And it does sort of translate onto the nail. It does look a little bit more blue than it does purple once it goes onto the nail, but it's really vibrant. This one glows, so highly recommend. Next category I would consider more like greeny blues. It's more greeny blues, And the first one is Lake. Lake is so pretty. This is like a light blue and gray in a really saturated white base. Cream polish, opaque on 2 coats here I have here, and it is so pretty. I tend to wear this a lot during the spring and fall and winter time as well. Not one that I reach for in summer, but I love it. So is Lillian, and Lillian is so pretty. It's so bright and vibrant, and it's like an aqua. It's like a bright, warm-based aqua blue. I love it. I love it so much, and it is a must-have. This has been on my toes for weeks. Like, I keep changing it with the same polish over and over. I just love it. Zoya's Wednesday is a green, between a green and a blue. It's not a Tiffany blue by any means, but definitely a greeny blue. And this always shows up different on camera, which is why I never purchased it, because it looks different in swatches. It's so pretty though. It might seem like a boring shade to some people, but to me, it's just a beautiful green blue that to me is a staple in my collection. I need shades like that because I'm not into just warm shades all the time. Next up is Zuza, and Zuza is that greeny blue as well with a ton of shimmer sparkle in here. So pretty. It is definitely a summer staple for me, and I love it. I think if you enjoy green blue shades, you're gonna love that one, as well as this one. This is just a mermaid in a bottle. No surprise here, Zoya's Charla or Charla. I like shades like this on my skin tone, and this always reminds me of a mermaid. It really does. It's opaque on 2 to 3 coats. I did do swatches of 2 coats and I did 3 coats, and you can still see some visible nail line. But in real life, when it's not under artificial lighting, it's going to show up as just an opaque mani. So this one is a glass fleck polish as well. Moving on to more traditional blues. The first one is Robin, and this is more of a warm tone blue than anything else. I love this on my nails. It's so bright and it pops. And I love blue nail polish. Blue is probably the color category that makes me happiest when I wear blue nails. It just, something about blue nails just makes me really, really happy. This one is opaque on 2 coats as well. One that is a little bit more on the purple side of blue, but it's still blue, is Dory. And Dory is opaque on 2 coats as well. And I love blues like this. It just looks very calming and cooling on the nail. It's so pretty. Again, if you don't own it, it's a must-have. Next up is Mallory, and Mallory is, I can't quite describe this blue. It's not deep dark blue, it's not an ocean blue, but it's a very saturated blue. I can't quite describe it, but it is stunning, and it's always been, since it got released, one of my favorite go-to blues, especially in the fall and winter time when I don't want to wear teals or deep dark blues. That is a must-have. Next up is River. This is one of the most recent releases, and it was my favorite from that entire collection. It is an oceanic shimmer blue, and it is opaque on 2 to 3 coats. I got it opaque on 2 coats, but it depends on your application. You might need 3, but I love this so much. It glows off the nail. It really is a stunning blue nail polish and a must-have. This one is a very underrated blue polish in my opinion, and it is called Song. And Song is opaque on 1 coat. It's a 1 coater, and it has a really beautiful blue shimmer in here. When you do apply a top coat, I didn't apply a top coat for swatches, but when you wear this with a top coat, it is so stunning. You do have to be a little bit careful with staining with this one around your cuticles, so you don't flood your cuticles with this one, because it is very, very, very pigmented. I love it though. It is one of my absolute favorites. Next up, a classic navy cream is Sailor, and this is more deeper and darker than a navy, and it has a bit more of a dusty element to it. It's opaque on 2 coats. Really great formula. If you don't like to wear black polishes but you like that almost black nail polish look, I personally like almost black nail polishes on my skin tone. This is really, really fabulous, and it does look navy indoors and outdoors. Another textured polish, and the reason why I love textured, some of them are opaque on 1 coat like this one. This is called Sunshine, and there's a lot of silver glitter in here, but it's going to show like rise onto the nail. It's really pretty. It sparkles in the sunshine. Maybe that's why it's called Sunshine, I don't know. But it is really beautiful, and again, opaque on one coat. To me, this is what I call a denim blue, and for that reason I had to put it in here. It's opaque on 1 to 2 coats. You can get it opaque on 1 though. It's really beautiful. And scattered holographic, like I mentioned, my favorite finish from them that they make aside from the cream polishes, and this is Dream, and Dream is a night sky in a bottle. If you're gonna get any scatter holographics besides the one that I showed you earlier, this is a must-have. It is opaque on 2 coats. It is a dream. It's literally what dreams are made of, and I love this one. And the very last blue to talk about is a Waverly. The reason why I included Waverly in here, it is also a textured polish, is because I'm just so hopeful that they come out with a nail polish that is not a textured finish like this, because this is sapphires on your nails. It literally looks like sapphires on your nails, because that is what it's a blue base, a deep blue base with blue glitter particles in here, and the tone of the blue is exactly like a sapphire. So I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers, I hope they come out with an actual polish that is like this, that is not a textured finish, because my goodness, it is so pretty. I'm gonna go on to the greens, and the first one is Ireland. And the reason why I love this type of tone is because it's a bit more muted, a little bit more yellow, and it makes it really, really wearable in the spring and the fall time. It's what I would consider a fall and spring green, and it's opaque on 2 coats. You're not going to be surprised by this one because I mentioned it in a couple videos, I think, and that is Tilda. And Tilda is that really bright yellow grassy green. It's like new growth grass in a way, and it was like probably, yeah, I think it was my top pick for greenery this year in 2017 for the Pantone color of the year. It is so pretty. It is a gorgeous green, and you can see in the swatch it looks really good on my skin tone. So if you have a yellow undertone, it's really beautiful. Next is Zoya's Ness, and Ness is what I would say, I would consider this a jade green, and it is a very common type of green. I tend to wear this more in summer and fall. Even though it's a jade green, I still wear this in fall because it pops on the nail, and I don't reach for this 100% in springtime. I reach for more green blues in springtime for some reason. For a rich dark hunter green, Wyatt is perfect, and it's opaque on 1 coat. It is so beautiful. I just love dark greens. Not every green looks good on me, so I'm very picky with my greens, but this is beautiful. And again, opaque on 1 coat. It doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. Next is another texture. This is the one that got me into textured polish for the 1 coat reason that I wear them. And it's Cheetah, and Cheetah is a forest green with a ton of silver in here. It is one of my most worn textured polishes as well because it's opaque on 1 coat, and I tend to use this as a base a lot for Christmas manicures. Like I'll put like a red glitter on top of this just to make it more festive and really tacky and in your face. I really do enjoy it. It's a really beautiful, it's a beautiful nail polish, and I do wear this a ton. It gets a lot of use out of me in fall and in Christmas time. This is Merida, or Merida, however you want to say it. I would say Merida, and it is a deep green scattered holographic. It's a forest green or an emerald. It's between a forest and an emerald green, but that scattered holographic finish is just so worth it in my opinion. I love it. If I want a green but I don't want like just a plain green, I wear this one, and it is so worth it in my opinion. And to finish off the green category is Olivera, and Olivera is a really duochrome, beautiful deep dark green polish. It looks almost black onto the nail, but once you get it on the nail it looks almost black. This is opaque on 1 coat as well, by the way. Not that duochrome finish that it has. It's something a little bit more interesting, and when I don't want to wear like just a plain black, I tend to reach for that. So that's the green category. Moving on to the final category, and I call this the grays and the blacks. So the first one, and you know I love my gray nail polish, is called Dove. And Dove is that heather gray, perfect cream 2-quarter polish. I can't stress enough how much I love this. If you love gray nail polishes, you need to get this one in your life. It is so stinking pretty. As well as Zoya's August. This is opaque on 2 coats. This is what I would consider like a mid-tone gray. I love that it's just a plain cream polish, but when I don't know what to wear and I wear a lot of red, I love red and gray together, so I tend to paint my nails gray when I wear a lot of red. And the deepest shade of gray that is a cream tone to me is Kelly. I know people put this in purple category sometimes, but on my skin tone, it leans more on the gray side than purple. So which is why I put it into this category. But it was really, really chic and I guess a trend a couple years ago, but I'm still on that trend of a deep, dark gray polish. I love this so much, and it's opaque on 2 coats. And for silvers, the first one is a scattered holographic. This is Alicia, and Alicia is opaque on 3 coats. It can be a topper for other polishes if you wanted to, because it sort of builds onto itself, but I like it for a palette cleanser, and it has like a gold sheen in here. Now it's not for everybody, but in my opinion, I think it is a beautiful scattered holographic. I wear this as a palette cleanser when I've been wearing a lot of dark polishes during the winter time. So to me, it just looks like a really beautiful wintry snowy day. It's beautiful. To me, I love it. I really, really love it. And the most classic silver you're ever gonna get is Trixie. I love Trixie. It's such a good silver polish, and I don't really like a lot of deep dark silvers. I like really bright silvers, and this is like aluminum foil silver in your face, opaque on 2 coats as well. And Troy is a gunmetal silver. I don't typically like polishes like this 100%, but there's something about it. I think it's because there's a more black to it than it is just a gunmetal gray, which is what makes this really rocker edgy and chic for me, which is why I love it. And I can't get enough of this, and it's opaque on 2 coats. Again, one of my favorites. The final one is Zoya's Raven, and this is what I consider a black satin. It's not a true black cream. It has a silver veining in here, and that's why I like it. Black creams can just be too flat on the nail for me. I like a glossy black nail, but I love that this has a little bit of something extra because it makes it more interesting in my opinion. So that is it. That is my top 100. I think I have maybe 115 here or 114. You could tell me, somebody can comment and tell me. Thank you so much for watching. Like I mentioned, I dedicate this video to all of you. This was already super long, so I'm not going to keep this outro very, very long. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. I hope more than anything this video was helpful and it helps you in your shopping for Zoya nail polishes. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.